Hello everyone, this is Mr. Offsetting, Masapi, and in today's video, I want us to learn how to apply what is called the product rule. So we have looked at different forms or ways in which we can differentiate a function, say f of x being equal to something. We have learned some of the basic means of differentiating such a function as this one. Be mindful, before we look at the product rule, let's remember that the whole goal of finding derivatives is simply to look for the gradient or the slope at each point of a curve. It just gives you a new function that gives you a gradient at any given point of the odd function. So now when it comes to the product rule, this is how you apply it. Say you have a function, not f of x is equal to something, but a function as f of x being equal to a times b. Now in this case, where a and b are simply functions, what I mean is that a is an expression having an x variable, and b is also an expression having an x variable. So with this in mind, to apply the product rule, we say that f prime of x will be equivalent to a prime b plus b prime a. Very simple to remember, a prime b plus b prime a. Given that f of x is equal to a times b, its derivative will simply be a prime b plus b prime a. Be mindful that a as well as b should be functions. A should not just be a constant, but it should be an expression that has maybe something as x squared or x plus something to it. And b should also be one that has x to something plus or minus something. These will be expressions, or they could be term to term, and you'll still apply what is known as the product rule. So now the best way to understand a concept in math is by looking at examples. Now let's look at various examples. There will not be a lot, there will just be, just be to a number that is appropriate. Say I've been asked to find dy over dx. Now they will never tell you exactly which form or which rule to apply when finding the derivative of a particular question. It is up to you to see and know what form or rule you apply on a given question by knowing exactly how the functions can be given. So let's say you have f of x, and this is equal to x squared times, let me start with something interesting, x squared times e to the 3x. So you have a and b. So the first thing to do here is to identify what your a is and what your b is. So a in this case is what? X squared. A should be the first function you recognize. Then b should be the second function you recognize, which is e to the something, which is 3x. Then after that, find a prime and b prime. So a prime will be, for this one, I'll just apply the basic power. So the power will multiply the coefficient, which is 1. So 2 times 1, and the power will be reduced by what? 1. So a prime is equal to 2 multiplied by 1, this 2, x to the first power, and that will be a prime. To find b prime, remember, given e raised to something, the derivative will simply be the derivative of something times e to the something. So this is our something. Now, what is the derivative of 3x? That is simply just what? 3 times e to the what? Something which will be what? 3x. Then remember, given such a function as this, it implies that f prime of x is simply equivalent to a prime b plus b prime a. Therefore, f prime of x is equal to what is a prime? A prime is 2x, then b is simply just e to the 3x plus b prime, which is 3 e to the 3x, times a, which is simply just x squared. So this is your final answer. As simple as this is. This is not really difficult to understand. The only thing you should know is simply how to identify what your A is and your B. The moment you get a hang of it, you will be home and dry. All right, let's look at question number 2. Say question number 2 is given as a function of this form. Say y is equal to minus x cubed times 3x to the 4th power minus 2. Now, many people could find this in a different way. Others could decide to follow it out and then simply just apply the basic power rule, or we can just use the product rule. Since in our section we're looking at the product rule, so we simply just apply the product rule. So remember, step 1, find your data by looking for a as well as what? B. A is the first function you recognize having the x variable, and in my case is minus x what? Cubed. And b is the second function that you recognize having the x variable, which is 3 x to the 4th minus 2. Now then, solve for a prime here in our case will be minus 3x squared. And solve for b prime, which will be 12x to the 3rd. From there, apply the rule. Since you're having y, I'll just say y prime is equal to a prime b plus b prime a. This implies that y prime is equal to what is a prime? It's minus 3x squared. What is b? B is simply 3x to the 4th minus 2 plus b prime, which is 12x cubed, times a, which is equivalent to minus x to the 3rd. You can just leave your answer in parentheses for accuracy purposes, but if you want, you can follow it out and you'll still be correct. You can simplify it if you want, and you'll still be fine. So, let us see what we can do. We can look at a different question. But even before we look at a different question, let's just try to follow it out for the sake of other people and explanation purposes. Y prime will be equivalent to minus 3x squared times 3x to the 4th minus 2, then minus x to the 3rd times 12x to the 3rd. Let's polish this up. This multiplies this together with that. So y prime is equal to minus 3x squared times 3x to the 4th. So give you minus 9. X, you add the powers to give you 6. Then minus 3 times minus 2. Give you a plus 6x squared. Then this multiplies that, and you get a minus 12. The powers, just add them, x to the 6. Collect the like terms, you have this guy and that guy. So y prime is simply going to equal to minus 21 x to the 6th power plus 6 x to the 2nd power. And this simply be your gradient. Very simple and basic. Let's move on to question 3. So suppose question 3 is in this manner. F of x is equal to 4x in 3x plus 1. Let me say 3x squared plus 1. So let us look for a and b. A should be the first expression you see or term having the x variable, which is in this case 4x. B should be the second term that you see having the x variable, or just a term. So you're having been 3x squared plus 1. Find the derivative of A. So A prime will just be what? 4. Find the derivative of B. Remember, the derivative of in something will be 1 over that particular something that you have, which is 3x squared plus 1, times the derivative of something, of which we know it will be 6x. At this point, you should be very, very comfortable with such derivatives, because we have already discussed them. But if you don't know them, you can simply just go back and watch the videos that I made on these type of functions. Let's continue. So b prime is equal to 6x over 3x squared plus 1, like that. So upon doing this, the next thing you should do is then apply the basic. You know that f prime of x will simply be a prime b plus b prime a. So f prime of x will be what is a prime, which is 4, times b, it's in 3x squared plus 1, plus b prime, which is 6x over 3x squared plus 1, times a, which will simply just be 4x. So you can leave your answer here, or you could polish it up. You could say f prime of x is equal to 4 and 3x squared plus 1, plus this 4 just multiplies the numerator, and that will give you what? 24x squared over 3x squared plus 1. And that will be your derivative. I hope it's clear. So every time you're looking or solving questions involving the product rule, the only thing you should know is how to identify the values of A and B. So look at question 4. So question 4 says f of x is equal to minus 4 e to the 3x to the 4th power plus x times in x. So in order to solve this, find data, look for A as well as B. The value of A is simply that expression having the x variable in the first case of the function f of x. So that would be minus 4 e to the 3x to the 4th plus x. Then B is simply equivalent to the second expression having the x variable, which is the function in our case as in x. Then find the derivative of A. A prime will be the derivative of something, which in our case will be 12x to the 3rd plus 1 times whatever you had, which is minus 4 times e to the 3x to the 4th plus x. Then also find b prime, should be 1 over something, because the something here is the x, so 1 over x times the derivative of x, which is 1, so b prime is just 1 over x. Now this part here can be forward out, because minus 4, okay, this can be written as minus 4 times 12x to the 3rd plus 1 times e to the 3x to the 4th plus what? X. It can be written in this pattern, and the 4th can forward out everything. So a prime is equivalent to 4 times this, we give you minus 48 x to the 3rd minus 4 times e to the 3x to the 4th plus x. Remember, f prime of x is equal to a prime b plus what? B prime a. Very important to know. So long as you can find the derivative of each particular function based on what we have looked at, then you are 100% safe in the product rule. When it comes to calculus, the whole idea is to get the concept. If you can get the concept, then you are safe. So now this means that f prime of x is equal to, what is our a prime? It's minus 48 x to the third minus 4 times e to the 3x to the fourth plus x. Then b is simply just an x plus a plus b prime, which will be what? 1 over what? X times a, which is simply just a is simply just minus 4e to the 3x to the fourth plus what? X. Simple as that. Now, if you want, you can fold it out. I don't really, not really a fan of folding out things. Yeah, because we can let it exist like this in the factorized form. It's also a simplified way. But if you want, you can always fold it out and see what you get in the end. It's still fine. It's perfectly fine. They'll still mark you. So remember, it's always a prime b plus b prime a. So by now, the concept is well understood. Maybe in a nutshell, we can just look at one question as our final example. Should be question 5. Say f of x is equal to minus, let me put the minus here, minus 2x to the fourth minus 3 times minus 2x to the second plus 1. So identify a and b. So data, in my solution, I have to look for a. A is going to be the first function, the expression, which is minus 2x to the fourth minus 3. Then b will be the second one, which is minus 2x squared second to the second or squared plus 1. Then a prime is simply equal to minus 8x to the third. Then b prime is equal to minus 4x. Just like that. So those are your derivatives of the individual functions you have. Then remember, f prime of x, as we know, will be a prime b plus b prime a. You can just substitute now. What is a prime? It's minus 8x to the third times b, which is minus 2x to the second power plus 1, plus b prime, which is minus 4x, times a, which is minus 2x to the fourth minus 3. So this is our answer. Or if we want, we can fold it out. For the sake of explanation purposes, f prime of x is, let's write this in a form of minus 8x to the third times minus 2x to the second plus 1. Now say minus 4x times minus 2x to the fourth minus 3. So this will fold this out, and you have f prime of x to be equivalent to, so what is 8 times 2? 16. X you add the powers to the power 5. And minus 8 times a positive 1 will give you minus 8x to the third. This multiplies this and that as well. So you have a plus 8x to the fifth. Then you have a plus 12x. I hope it's clear now. I've expanded or folded out the expressions. It's very important to know how we've come up with this. Alright, therefore, if we collect the like terms and simplify furthermore, you know that this can be added to that, and we can get a 24x to the fifth power. Now for this guy here, it doesn't really have a pair to simplify it with, so you have a minus 8x to the third. Sum applies with the positive 12, so plus 12x. So this is the new function that gives you the gradient at each point of the odd function. So this is our derivative. So I'm glad it's clear. So this is how you go about solving for the product rule. The basic thing to remember is that if you have a function, so recall f of x is equal to a times b, where these two are simply just functions. Remember, f prime of x will just be a prime b plus b prime a. Okay? Practice this thing on a daily basis. Okay? And you get a hang of it. So my name is Mr. Hussein. Most happy. Thanks for watching this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. If you have questions, you can contact me on the number that is on top of the top left corner of the screen, or you can look up for my number in the description. Remember, it's quite important to strategize before you become a statistic, and let's always try to push for that A+.